Welcome to this project by Ashwin, Jay, Kabir, and Yuchain. Today we're taking a look at Matthew Desmond's novel, Evicted, Poverty and Profit in the American City. The story follows 8 families throughout the process of eviction, which exemplifies the landlord's abuse of their power and wealth to take advantage of their poor and underprivileged tenants. One of the families is a group of 3, a single mother, Arlene, and her 2 children, Joy and Jafaris. Their story begins with an eviction due to a broken door. When external factors broke it down, the landlord refused to pay for a new one, evicting the family instead. Arlene and her children are sent onto the streets, facing threats of drugs and violence. While Arlene had the sense to steer clear of trouble, the 2 children would innocently talk to anyone. Many families undergo the same hardships as Arlene, seeping deeper into poverty. As a family moves, the children's education is affected, whereas teachers, curriculums, and resources. Like Joy and Jafaris, numerous children who are victims of eviction are deprived of a stable and concrete education, which presents a paradox. One must have a good education for a good home, but without a good home, one cannot obtain a good education. According to a study made by the National Center for Educational Statistics, 54% of homeless children score below grade level proficiency in math, and 75% score below in reading. Furthermore, the percent of students in poor neighborhoods are about 4 times as likely to drop out of school than students in upper class living conditions. This shows that the quality of housing greatly affects children's education. When people are evicted from their homes, they are filled with feelings of panic and distress. Commonly, people seek drugs as solace. Since drugs are often sold in poverty-filled neighborhoods, it becomes convenient for evictees to obtain them. The drugs take up quite a big chunk of their paycheck, which prevents the tenants from paying for a home, further leading the individuals into a cycle of poverty. The cycle showed itself again with Doreen and her family, tenants under a landlord known as Sharina. When a family attempted to improve its conditions, it was met with a neglect of a landlord. When a family paid up, Sharina often didn't answer the phone until the first of the month rolled around again. If the family withheld rent, then Sharina declined to fix anything until the rent was paid. In addition, government funding for housing is low. Over the past few years, the number of people in poverty has increased. One would expect the government to increase funding with the increased demand for affordable homes, but that is not true. The number of affordable homes has been going down as the government cuts funding for affordable housing programs. However, just a few extra cents could further the programs by millions. The amount of people that require assistance from the government for their housing is unbelievably high, while the number of affordable homes is extraordinarily low. People have to wait around 5 years, resulting in a lengthy wait list. The numbers just keep going up. From 2003 to 2014, the number of homes on a waiting list has gone up from 126,000 to 168,000. Eviction is also very real for us, residents of one of the highest eviction rate states in the country. Just last year, a nonprofit organization known as the Eviction Lab listed 8 North Carolina cities among the 100 American cities with the highest eviction rates. While most cities, such as Durham and Fayetteville, comprise of the top 50, Greensboro managed to hit 7th with an eviction rate of about 8.4%. Earlier this year, a case at an apartment complex near Crabtree Mall presented the ethical dilemmas of landlords. A young tenant, Jordan Hargrove, was unknowingly evicted despite not only paying rent, but also multiple fees or transcripts which would have prevented eviction. Once Hargrove paid the $2,000, the landlords assured him that his situation was fine, but they actually filed an eviction. Hargrove only found out when applying for a new home. He responded by saying,
"Do about this?" And they were like, "There's nothing you can do. That's not our issue. You charge court fees for a court case that didn't happen, that in transcript should not have even gone to court to begin with." They need to understand that that's not fair. There has to be some basic human decency that comes with it.
Many times, landlords work secretly to illegally evict tenants. However, there are a series of laws to prevent this, the General Statutes. In this case, the landlords broke General Statute 7554, which states that no landlord can collect debt through deception, as well as General Statute 4246, which states that the evictions require a court case. The landlords broke 2 laws to unfairly place an eviction on Hargrove's record. In addition, the judicial system is not a hindrance to eviction, but instead makes it quite convenient. In Richmond, the city with the 2nd highest eviction rate in the United States, the representation of people getting evicted is nominal in the judicial system. Due to this, only the demands of the landlords are approved. In multiple court cases in Richmond, tenants were evicted without even appearing in the courtroom. This is a common occurrence since people who get evicted often can't afford a lawyer to represent them, while the privileged landlords can. This leads the tenants to give up on the court case, and he or she decides that showing it to the court will be a waste of time. Instead, the tenant decides to spend time trying to find a new place to stay rather than fight a hopeless legal battle. This cycle repeats, and the powerful landlords take advantage of the tenant's financial situation. According to the News and Observer, in 2015 there were approximately 1.7 million Americans who were considered to be in poverty. Out of those people, 80% couldn't afford legal representation to fight back in court, including cases involving eviction. On top of that, over 20% of those in poverty were children. This brings us back to the fact that evictions prevent children from receiving a thorough education and thus deepening the poverty crisis. There are some organizations who are helping those in need. Casa NC, a nonprofit organization, dedicates its time and energy to helping others who are struggling with housing. Over the past 25 years, they've had many success stories. One such case would be the tenant Rosemary, who was suffering from lung cancer and had to pay large treatment bills. Consequently, she was broke. Casa NC helped Rosemary fight her life-threatening disease and provided her with affordable housing. Sadly, homelessness is still a widespread problem in America, and although nonprofits such as Casa NC is helping, we must take more action. With homelessness rates increasing across the country, we need more nonprofit organizations to assist those in need of a home. Furthermore, the government needs to increase funding for programs such as affordable housing rather than decreasing it. There is a way to increase the conditions of housing while keeping costs within government budgets. An idea provided by the author Matthew Desmond, the expansion of a housing voucher program for all low-income families balances the landlord's desires to make a living and the tenant's desire to simply live. The voucher program allows families to pay a percentage of their income for rent, and government assistance covers up the rest. Undergoing the voucher program is costly. It calls for an extra $22 billion to be added to Homeland assistance, but it is well within America's capacity. Furthermore, in 2008, the year Aline was evicted, housing assistance saw only $40.2 billion, but homeowner tax benefits exceeded $171 billion. That was equal to the budgets for the Department of Education, Veterans Affairs, Homeland Security, Justice, and Agriculture combined. When affluent landlords look to maximize their profits, they end up evicting tenants for trivial reasons, immersing them into a cycle of poverty. As eviction continues to lead tenants down a path of poverty, they are fettered into a cycle of drugs, distracted from their jobs, and fail to obtain a sufficient education. As a result, measures must be taken to make it possible to improve the situation and save the tenants from drowning under this injustice.